There are 15 common weeds that may be growing in your garden right now that are not weeds at all, but expensive superfoods hiding in plain sight. You have been paying $30 a bottle for omega-3 capsules, while the single richest plant source of those very same fats grows for free in the cracks of your driveway. And those weeds you have been spraying, pulling and cursing every summer, some of them sell for $15 an ounce on a health food shelf. Tonight I am going to walk you through 15 of them, counting all the way down to the single most valuable plant growing in your garden right now, a plant so nutritious that the supplement it quietly replaces costs $30 a jar. I will not tell you its name until the very end, but I promise you have pulled it up and thrown it on the compost more times than you could count. For most of your life you have been told there are only two kinds of green thing in a garden. The ones you plant, water and fuss over, and the weeds, the nuisances you are supposed to poison and pull. I am here to tell you that some of the most nutritious, most expensive plants on earth have quietly filed themselves under that second heading, growing for nothing while you drove to the shop to buy their weaker cousins. This is knowledge our grandparents lived by as a matter of course, and that we have been taught ever so gently to forget and buy back off a shelf instead. The biggest gardening mistake most people make is not poor soil, and it is not green fly. It is failing to realize that their weed problem is, in a great many cases, a gold mine they have been trying their best to kill. My name is Malcolm Ashby, and for 50 years now I have been growing things and gathering things, from allotment beds to hedgerows to the awkward strip of gravel behind the shed where nothing is supposed to grow and yet everything does. A weed, when you really stop and think about it, is not a botanical fact at all. It is an opinion. It is simply a plant growing in a spot where somebody once decided it should not. And tonight's 15 plants are the finest argument I know that the opinion is very often dead wrong. Stay with me all the way down to number 1, because that is the plant I would least like you to throw away, and it is almost certainly in your garden this very moment. Let me say one thing, and then I will not bring it up again. Every plant, I know its lookalike and what it is worth in dollars, I have put into one book. On page 31, there is a weed that grows in most backyards that people spray on site and that replaces the $5 tea they have been buying for years. It is at the backyardgoldmine.com, and the link is under this video. If you want it, it is there. That is all. Now let's get into it. Number 15, wood sorrel, the little shamrock-shaped leaf with the tiny yellow flower that folds itself up at night as though it were guarding something precious. It is. One handful carries more vitamin C than a glass of orange juice, with a sharp, lemony zing that chefs charge a premium for. This is the very plant that kept sailors from scurvy when there was not a citrus fruit within 1,000 miles. Your test tonight: look for the heart-shaped leaflets in threes and that clean, lemon-sour taste. One word of care, for like spinach and rhubarb it carries oxalic acid, so if you are prone to kidney stones, treat it exactly as you would those. Number 14. Common mallow, the low, scrambling plant with round, scalloped leaves and small pink flowers, is the plant that quite literally gave the marshmallow its name. The original sweet was made from the gel of its root, and it soothed a sore throat rather than causing one. Every single part is edible. The leaves taste of mild lettuce, the flowers brighten a salad, and the little round seed pods, which children call cheeses because they look like tiny cheese wheels, are packed with protein and good fats. Its real magic is mucilage, that soothing gel the lozenge makers now synthesize in a laboratory and sell you at the chemist's counter. Your test tonight: find the round cheese wheel seeds and the scalloped leaf, free medicine growing in the soil by your gate. Number 13. The wild violet, those heart-shaped leaves and shy purple flowers carpeting the cool, damp corners of the lawn, is a great deal more than merely pretty. The flowers carry more vitamin C ounce for ounce than an orange, and a specialty shop will happily charge you $10 to $15 for a small tub of the edible flowers you are mowing straight over every week. Leaves and flowers are both good to eat, raw in a salad or cooked like spinach, and the flowers crystallize beautifully for the top of a cake. Herbalists have leaned on the violet for centuries for coughs and sore skin. Your test tonight: look under the trees for the purple flower and the heart-shaped leaf, and, just this once, leave the mower in the shed. Number 12. Red clover, the three-leaflet plant with the honey-scented pink and purple globe of a flower, is far more than something a farmer grows for his cattle. Those flowers are sweet enough to eat straight from the field and make a lovely tea, and they carry isoflavones, the very compounds that supplement companies sell at a handsome markup for women's health. But the clover pays you twice over. As it grows, it pulls nitrogen out of the very air and feeds it back into your soil, quietly improving the ground for everything around it. Your test tonight: pick a few of the fresh pink heads, pull out a single floret, and taste the drop of honey at its base. A plant that fertilizes your garden and feeds you at the same time is not a weed at all. It is an unpaid gardener. Number 11. Chickweed, that low mat of tiny leaves and little white starflowers threading its way through your beds, hides a genuine surprise. It carries a more complete protein than most leafy greens you can buy, with every essential amino acid in a plant most people step on without a thought. The taste is mild and faintly sweet, a perfect salad base that never bolts and never turns bitter. But its real superpower is winter. While your expensive lettuce collapses at the first frost, chickweed keeps right on producing fresh, vitamin C-rich leaves under ice and snow, which is why survival instructors call it the winter insurance plant. Your test tonight: look for the single line of fine hairs running down just one side of the stem, the detail that tells true chickweed from its lookalikes. Number 10. Curly dock, the tall plant with long wavy-edged leaves that turn a rusty red as the season wears on and finish in dense brown seed spikes, is one of the great overlooked larders of the garden. The young leaves are tart and lemony, rich in vitamin A and iron, and they cook down like a sharp spinach. But the real prize is the seed. Each plant throws up thousands of them, and once rubbed free of their papery husk, they can be ground into a dark, nutty flour. Your test tonight: find the wavy leaf margins that give the plant its name, and the rusty seed stalks standing proud right through winter. Like sorrel, it carries oxalic acid, so cook it and vary it rather than eating great bowls of it raw. Number 9. Garlic mustard, with its heart-shaped scalloped leaves that smell unmistakably of garlic the moment you crush them, is treated as a hated invader across whole countries, and yet it is one of the finest free seasonings you will ever lay your hands on. Crush a leaf and you have garlic and mustard together in one, with no bulb to peel and no waiting for anything to grow. It is rich in vitamins A and C and makes a superb wild pesto that would cost you a small fortune in a delicatessen jar. Because it runs so rampant, you may harvest it as hard as you like with a clear conscience, for you are doing the hedgerow a favor. Your test tonight: crush a leaf close to your nose. If it smells of garlic, you have it. If it does not, leave it well alone. Now, we are just past the halfway mark, and I have not forgotten the promise I made you at the very top. The plant at number 1, the richest source of its kind on the planet, is coming, and I would put money on the fact that you have pulled it up and binned it 100 times without once knowing what you held. Hold that thought and let us keep climbing. Number 8, not the banana, but the broadleaf plantain, those ribbed oval leaves in a flat rosette that thrive in the most compacted, trodden-down ground where nothing else will even try. This is nature's own sticking plaster. Crush a fresh leaf onto a cut, a sting, or an insect bite, and the allantoin and orchidine within it calm the inflammation, slow the bleeding, and speed the healing, often better than the tube you paid for at the pharmacy. The young leaves are edible, and the seeds on those little spikes are rich in the very same soluble fiber sold to you as psyllium husk for $15 or $20 a tub. Your test tonight: find the parallel veins running the length of the leaf and remember it the next time you are stung out in the garden. Number 7. Chicory, the wiry roadside plant with the startling sky blue flowers that open in the morning and close again by the afternoon, is a plant leading a quiet double life. Its bitter leaves are the ancestor of the fancy salad leaves you pay handsomely for, the radicchio, the endive, the freezy on a restaurant plate. And its long taproot, dried and roasted, becomes the caffeine-free coffee that carried whole nations through hard times and now sells as a wellness drink at a premium. Those bitter compounds are not a fault, they wake up your digestion as mild shop greens never do. Your test tonight: look for that unmistakable blue flower on a tough, almost leafless stem along the drive or the verge, and dig up a root to dry and roast. Number 6. Burdock, with its big, rhubarb-like leaves and those round, hooked burrs that cling to the dog and to your socks, is dug up and sold as a prized vegetable on the far side of the world. In Japan, they call the root gobo, and they treasure it for its sweet, earthy crunch in a stir-fry or a soup. It is the root herbalists have reached for over the centuries as a blood cleanser and a skin tonic, and that same maddening burr that catches on your trousers gave a Swiss engineer his idea for Velcro. Your test tonight: find the first-year plant, a low rosette of huge, soft, grey-backed leaves, and dig for the long, pale taproot beneath. Hard work with a fork and worth every minute. And now we reach the top 5, where the plants stop being pleasant curiosities and start being seriously, properly valuable. Number 5. Wild amaranth, the tall weed with reddish stems and dense, drooping flower spikes that you have almost certainly yanked out of the drive thinking it just another thug, is one of the most complete foods on the entire planet. The young leaves cook up like spinach but carry more protein. And a single plant can set 100,000 tiny seeds, each one carrying all 9 essential amino acids, a complete protein to rival meat itself. The Aztecs built an empire on it and treated it almost as gold. Today a health food shop sells the very same grain as an exotic ancient superfood at a premium a pound, while the identical species grows for nothing in the vacant lot behind the shop. Your test tonight: find the red-tinged stem and the heavy seed head and rub a spike over a bowl to watch the harvest pour out. Number 4. The stinging nettle, the one plant on this whole list that fights back, is very probably the single most nutritious leaf in your garden, and people spend their whole lives trying to burn it out. Once it is cooked or dried for even a minute, the sting vanishes completely, and you are left with a green richer in iron, calcium and protein than almost anything you can buy, tasting of a deep, savory spinach. It makes a soup, a tea, and once made a cloth, and herbalists have used it for centuries for aching joints and hay fever, with modern studies only now beginning to nod along. Health shops sell dried nettle and nettle capsules at a steep price indeed. Your test tonight: pull on a glove, pick the top 4 tender leaves of a young plant and drop them straight into boiling water. 2 minutes and the sting is gone forever. Number 3. The dandelion, that cheerful yellow flower mocking a perfect lawn, may just be the most useful plant you will ever be handed for free, and people spend a small fortune every year trying to kill it. Every part is edible and every part is medicine. The flowers batter and fry or turn into a country wine. The jagged leaves carry more iron than spinach and a wealth of vitamins A, C and K. And the root, dried and roasted, is one of the oldest tonics we have for the liver and the digestion, the very thing sold straight back to you as a detox supplement for $20 to $40 a bottle. The old herbalists knew all of this long before anyone thought to bottle it. Those bitter compounds you were taught to dislike are precisely the part that does the good. Your test tonight: dig up one whole dandelion, root and all, and understand that you are holding a salad, a medicine, and a cup of coffee in a single plant. Number 2. Lamb's quarters, also known as fat hen, with its dusty, diamond-shaped leaves that look for all the world as though they have been dusted with silver flour, makes cultivated spinach look like a weakling. Leaf for leaf, it carries more calcium than milk and more vitamin C than an orange, and it was a staple green for peoples right across the world for thousands of years, long before wheat and corn shouldered it aside. It does the one thing spinach simply cannot. It stays sweet and tender deep into the summer heat instead of bolting away bitter, and come the back end of the season, it sets a great mass of edible seeds, a close cousin of quinoa. Your test tonight: look for that white, mealy dust on the youngest leaves and the unmistakable diamond shape, and cook it exactly as you would spinach. It is one of the finest free vegetables on earth. And number one, here it is at last, the plant I have been holding back since the very first line of this video: purslane. That low, sprawling succulent with the thick, jade-green paddle leaves and the smooth, often reddish stems, the one that positively thrives in the hottest, driest, most hopeless cracks of your driveway in the middle of August, when everything else has thrown in the towel. Purslane contains more of the omega-3 fatty acids, the very fats you were told to eat oily fish for, than any other leafy green ever measured anywhere on Earth. While people hand over $30 a bottle for fish oil capsules, this plant makes the same essential fats for absolutely nothing. And it does not stop there. More vitamin E than spinach, more beta-carotene than a carrot, with magnesium, potassium and iron thrown in besides. The taste is a clean, crisp, lemony crunch, and the finest restaurants plate it as an exotic leaf while it grows unloved in their own car park. Now, here is the one thing that matters most of all, so listen closely. Your test tonight: find the fat, smooth, water-filled stem and snap it. True purslane runs with a clear, watery sap, never a milky one. That milky white sap belongs to spurge, its poisonous look-alike, and that single difference is the one that could genuinely matter. Clear sap, thick jade leaf, and you are holding the richest omega-3 leaf on the planet, growing for free, the very thing you have been throwing on the compost heap for most of your life. So there they are, 15 plants, from the lemon tang of wood sorrel all the way to the omega-3 riches of purslane. Every last one of them growing freely in exactly the places we least expect to find treasure. And they reveal something I have come to believe after 50 years of growing and gathering. Nature draws no line whatsoever between a valuable plant and a worthless one. Only we do that, and more often than not, we get it completely the wrong way round. These are the plants that fed civilizations, healed the sick, and carried families through the lean years. And we have spent countless long summers trying to poison them clean out of existence. This is old wisdom, common once and quietly allowed to slip away while we looked the other way, and it is yours to take back any time you choose. The next time you find yourself standing over a patch of green with a bottle of weed killer in your hand, I want you to stop just for a moment and ask a different question. Not how do I kill this, but what have I got here and what could it do for me? Because the gold mine, as it always was never sitting on a shelf at the garden center. It was under your own 2 feet the whole time, waiting for someone wise enough to stop pulling and start looking. Now, I would genuinely love to hear from you. Drop me a comment down below and tell me just 2 things. Which of these 15 surprised you the most, and which of them are growing in your garden right now, this very week? I read as many of them as I possibly can, and the patterns that turn up never once cease to amaze me. Thank you for spending this time with me today, and thank you for looking at your own back garden with a fresh pair of eyes. And do subscribe if you have not already, because next time I am attempting something a good deal braver. I am going to show you the 7 so-called weeds that could genuinely land you in trouble, the beautiful, common garden plants that are quietly poisonous, and the one growing by a great many back doors that people still mistake for something safe to eat. Until then, go and have a proper look in that garden. You never know. See you next time.